the Legal Corner podcast series. Welcome to today's episode of The Legal Corner, a podcast which covers a variety of legal issues to keep you informed. Hosted by attorney at law Colin Dinoon and communications specialist Leonardo Torres.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Legal Corner podcast series. I am your host, Colin Dinoon, attorney at law. My co-host, Mr. Leonardo Torres, won't be here with us today as he's attending to some matters of state. To all our regular listeners, I would like to thank you for your continued support. If you are listening to this podcast for the first time, you may be wondering, what is the Legal Corner podcast? Well, the Legal Corner podcast series is a bi-monthly show originating in Trinidad and Tobago and is aimed at providing insight into various areas of the law with a view to keeping you informed. In today's episode, we'll be looking at LinkedIn for lawyers. The LinkedIn platform was first launched in 2002 and it has grown to become a global online community for persons who are seeking to expand their network, grow their businesses, and move up in their careers. LinkedIn is particularly useful for lawyers who may be seeking out new employment opportunities or trying to attract new clients. Joining us on the show today to provide some further insight on this topic is Mr. Sesi Ondei. Sesi Ondei was called to the Nigerian bar in 2013 and specializes in real property law in the law firm of Bloomgate Solicitors. Sesi has a strong background in litigation and has represented his clients in various real estate, employment, commercial, and fundamental rights enforcement litigation at the High Court of Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo State, and at the Court of Appeal. Sesi is an active member of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja branch, and a member of the Continuous Legal Education and Practice Development Committee of the branch from March 2021 until the present time. Sesi is a prolific content creator and regularly educates his over 7,000 LinkedIn followers on property law. Sesi is a devout Christian and loves reading, writing, listening to music, be it gospel, jazz, or classical, and traveling. Welcome to the Legal Corner, Sesi.
Thank you so much, Colin. It feels so good to be here.
It's great connecting with you, and I must say that you are our first guest on the continent of Africa, so I'm very excited about that.
Wow, I'm so excited to hear that. That's a big one for me. This is probably my first time leaving my country, but not by air. This is by virtual communications. I feel so good about it. Thank you so much, Colin.
Excellent. Now, we're going to jump right into it, and I want you to tell us what makes LinkedIn a good platform for lawyers.
Thank you, Colin, for that question. From my experience, I would say that LinkedIn is the best platform for lawyers because of our profession. That in most countries, like in my country, Nigeria, you're not allowed to advertise your services. What you call soliciting for clients. You can't solicit for clients saying, "Oh, I'm an excellent lawyer. I can help you win a case or do a transaction." You can't do that. So you have to write articles. This was before the era of the internet. They made these rules quite so many years ago. So write articles and publish the articles in journals, speak at conferences, write books. So that was the way lawyers could market and can still market in my country. So I was looking for a platform where I could be visible to my target audience, my target clients, and even people that might help me refer clients to me. But I looked at Facebook. I've been there for many years, but I didn't really like the way that Facebook was quite, it was like an everything, video, audio, everything. But I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't like it. And again, the quality of conversation on Facebook, I think it was not really up to my level. So I had to maintain a kind of low profile there. Got on Twitter. Well, for Twitter was quite good for me, but I could not cope with the fast pace of Twitter. Twitter is really fast paced. You have to be posting regularly. I mean, I made that 7, 8, 10 times in a day. I thought that was exhausting. So I left Twitter. And Instagram, for me, Instagram was more like picture and videos, and I was not great at, those kind of content. I wanted something I could write. Then I tried LinkedIn. I had LinkedIn in 2014 when I started practicing, but I just opened the app to get a job, like most players do. But it didn't quite work out. So I didn't get a job, but I was still keeping the account. And I think it was 2020. I began to be very active. I was very active. I was a pandemic. I was in March, April. I thought that, okay, I could write some stories, I could write some content, I could make it simple for non-lawyers and also meet people that could partner with me. And I began to take it serious. I thought I'll give it a shot for 1 year. So for me, it's been a place where I could share knowledge and the audience is willing to receive knowledge. LinkedIn is a platform that is very cerebral. People are there for the purpose of learning, first and foremost. Secondly, to network. Then thirdly, to close business deals and, get business. So I think for a lawyer, when you sell your knowledge and people can see the value you bring to them, if they are to hire you, this is kind of thinking you will bring it to the table as a lawyer. It's very easy. You don't have to think of something like TikTok where you have to do funny videos, or Instagram you have to do a lot of videos. This is just put out your content in written form without images, without graphics. It's going to get good engagement. Once your content is simple, it's relatable to the audience, and it's applicable to them. I think for a lawyer, you should give LinkedIn a chance, a try, really.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Now, one of the main things on LinkedIn is a person's profile, right? Because your content generation is really geared towards leading persons toward your profile. So how can a lawyer optimize their LinkedIn profile?
Thank you for that question, Colin. Thank you so much. What I would say is that for a lawyer, everything about you, your background, from your education to your current workplace, is part of your asset as a lawyer. So right from your secondary school, there are people, we call them alumnus or alumni that I went to the same school with. By the mere fact of that association with you, that this person went to my secondary school or university or law school, that is always a common ground to start a relationship with somebody on LinkedIn. So I would say start from your education. Let's know your educational background. Let's know where you went to school, what you studied. Obviously, law. What kind of law did you study? You tell us your current workplace. Let it be visible in your profile, because sometimes for those who want to hire lawyers, they see your workplace and they can reach out to you. They have to engage you or to help you get a better job. So it's good to always say the truth about where you're working now. Don't lie and don't say where you're not. Don't say where you're not. Tell the world the current status of your employment. If you're working, if you're unemployed, if you're looking for a job. So it's really, really important. And I would say what's really the first thing that someone sees on LinkedIn is your picture, because when you make a post or you comment on somebody's post or even like somebody's post, the person might want to see, open your profile, and the first thing is the picture. So I always advise for people to go for headshots. Headshot that's taken by a photographer that you pay, a professional photographer that will give you a headshot that will suit that profile. And you have to put your best appearance. If you're a lawyer like me, you have to put on your suit, your tie, look very good, nice haircut, and you look great. Put a picture there. Then your banner, when you call the banner section, just before your picture, you could put your office logo, your firm logo. If you have a book you've written, so those are those things that they sell you indirectly as a lawyer. Then tell us your headline. What is it that you do? What kind of law do you practice? And preferably, where do you work? So for me, I am a real estate lawyer. Although yesterday I got inducted into the Institute of Construction industry arbitrators, so you can call me a real estate and construction lawyer. I'm pursuing a path in arbitration. So I'll put that on my profile. When you click on my profile, you just see that headline. This guy is a real estate lawyer, and it makes it easy for you to know what I do. Then the most important part, what I call your summary. The summary page, your profile, your summary page, and what you call your about section. Yes. So tell us, a kind of background. It's not like the normal CV. I worked here, I did this, I did that. This one should be kind of conversational. You should give us a background about how you came to be. So for me, I always tell my friends to tell us who you are. My name is this person, and I practice this kind of law. What made you? What was the why for you? Why did you come into this area of law? Why did you read law? That kind of backstory. It makes people know a bit about you before they even meet you, virtually or physically. And tell us your experience. What have you done? Do you have achievements? Do you have accolades? What kind of things have you done? Then tell us where you work, the office you work, and your interests aside from law practice. And are you holding any? Are you in any committee, in any non-for-profit organization? They want to, because people want to know beyond being a lawyer, who is this person. So I advise people to write in a conversational tone, preferably in the first person. Second person. So write I. You use your name. Ceci is a lawyer. Ceci went to school here. Ceci did this. Ceci is a member of this committee. So the person reading it now, it appears you are speaking to that person, not I, or not they, because you can't use third person. So it's either you use the first person or the second person you write up in your summary. So that's what I know and I've learned about your profile as a lawyer on LinkedIn. Thank you, Colin.
Congratulations on your achievement in attaining your recent certification. I want to ask you what type of content works best on LinkedIn?
Oh, great, Colin. All right, for content, well, I'll give you a little backstory. So when I was starting out on LinkedIn in 2020, that's during the pandemic. So I tried out a story. I was in court for a client, and I thought, let me tell this story. This story is a tenancy story. But I twisted the fact of the case. I didn't mention the parties. I just twisted the fact of the case, and I put it out on LinkedIn. When I put it on my computer, I thought I'd arrived because I wrote the post and I copied it into my LinkedIn app. And this post could not post because it was too long. Then LinkedIn had this word limit of 1,300 words. So it could not post. I tried posting, it could not say my post is too long and I should reduce it. And it was a nice story. So I have to say now, turn this into an article. So I just turned the story into an article. And oh my word, this article got about 10 shares. I was thinking this is going to be a horrible article, a horrible content. It's too long, it's horrible, nobody will read it. And it got massive attraction. I was like, wow. So stories is the way to go. So I would say stories. Human beings can forget what you say, but they can't forget how you say it. And these people you are trying to reach out to are not lawyers. They don't understand the jargons of our profession, how we speak to the judges, to our colleagues, how we write our grammar. It's very, very, it's weird to a common man. So I would say use stories to pass across your message. Tell stories a lot. Then you write your content in a way that a 5-year-old can understand. In my own country, Nigeria, and I think generally around the world, even in the UK, lawyers are trained to write in a way that only them can understand. So if you write that kind of content on LinkedIn, it will not get attraction. It will not get attention because people don't have time. One of the first 3 lines of your content, your headline, is not catchy. They scroll up. So I would say write that very technical, concept, that case review, that's your point of view. Make it very simple for a layman to understand. And I'm telling you that once they see the value of that content, once they see that this content is something that has addressed an issue I was dealing with or I'll deal with in future, they want to engage on your post. So storytelling is absolutely the best way to go. If you can be patient enough to tell stories, you will get a lot of followers and you will get a lot of leads that will come to you to work with you as a lawyer. So storytelling and simplifying your content in very, very very simple language.
Are there any things we need to keep in mind when telling stories? So, for example, confidentiality and stuff like that.
Yes, Colin, you have to tell your client stories carefully, especially if it's not yet, if it's a matter that is not in court. That's something that obviously should not go out there. But if it's in court, because it's a public place and anything in court is deemed to be public document, you still have to be careful. You don't want to reveal your client's name. You don't want to reveal the amount of money involved, some specific detail. But you can just tell these stories happen every day, but maybe not exactly the same way. So I feel that telling those stories, you can just be creative by twisting the fact of the case, changing the scenarios, just making sure even if the client sees that story on LinkedIn, they will just smile and say, "This is probably my story, but she didn't mention my name, so everybody will know I'm the one." So heck, I'm safe. So that's how I go about my stories. I have my stories. I don't use the same scenario, the same location, the same figures. I change everything. In fact, I just make it like I'm recounting what someone told me to my audience. I'm recounting what happened. Like, and I always tell my audience, this story I've written is fictional, and it is for the purpose of education, and it doesn't constitute legal advice. So that this guy is writing a fiction, but although that story that I've painted, the story I've twisted, it happened somewhere where I just imagined it, but I will not go to I won't tell you the details of the conversation that I had with the client or what I heard somewhere, or I just make it very vague, so you can never guess that don't even know what I'm talking about. You cannot know. You won't know. So I think for lawyers, let's be careful about putting our clients' details online. It's against our ethics. It's against our professional ethics. So confidentiality is very important. But most important, these stories are common in occurrences every day. So you can pick out the common ones and weave a story around it and share. I think you'll be fine, really. You'll be fine.
What are some of the biggest mistakes lawyers make when trying to develop business on LinkedIn?
Colin, I would say the first mistake lawyers make is lack of patience. Because our profession thrives on relationships. A lawyer is deemed to know the law. So people are not coming to you to ask you if you know the law. They are coming to you because you know the law. And can you solve my problem at a fee I can afford? In a way I'll feel comfortable and I'll feel satisfied. So that kind of profession, the first thing you should sell is yourself. Sell yourself, sell your knowledge, sell your expertise. The business will always come. I tell my friends and my mentees that business that I've gotten and I always get don't happen when I sell. They happen when I talk to people. And it is in the midst of those conversations I start spotting out areas I could serve them. I say, "Oh, I could do this for you," or "This is what can happen if you don't do this." You ask me, "Can you do this?" I say, "Yeah, I can do this. This is what I do for a living. And I do it for my client. I could do the same for you." But that conversation starts with just a conversation about, "Oh, nice content, nice story. I love your dress." I had a client that gave me a brief, and this client linked me to his friend, and this client linked me to his mom, who now told me that anybody in your family or that they know that is doing this kind of business, they'll call me to be involved. And that client has given me about 6 clients, one person. This guy got to like my post because I posted about my dress. I don't like wearing suit to the office. I like wearing the Nigerian, the African attire. We call it the Ankara. Then I was an Ankara person then. So I wear Ankara to the office. I don't wear suit. I only wear suit to court or to function that's required me to wear suit. So I made that post, and this guy saw that post, and he made a comment in my local language. I didn't even know until I checked his post again. The comments, and I sent him a DM. Got talking in the DM, and I asked for his WhatsApp number. He gave me his WhatsApp number. He said he was not in the country, and we got talking. I didn't even talk to him afterwards. After a while, he called me and said, "Oh, do I do something like this?" I said, "Yeah, I do. This is what I do very well, and I can do it for you." He said, "Okay." We got on a call, and he said, "When he's in Nigeria, he'll come meet me to help him out. And that was how he came to Nigeria. So that discussion did not even talk about business. The guy went to my university. We were in the same university. Although he was ahead of me, I think by 2 years, not in the same faculty. He was not a law student. But we are from the same community in Badagry, same university. And I talked about something it could relate to. That was not even a legal post. That was a post about dressing. So for lawyers, patience is very key. People buy from people they know, they like, and they trust. So the purpose of content should be to attract attention. When you have the attention of people through likes, through comments, through shares, what you do with that attention, with those engagements, now determines if you can get a client or not. So for me, if you like my post, I just know that you've endorsed my content. You like what I've written there. If you comment, I believe that you not only like my post, you also are supporting me. You want to support me in a way. And that means you can buy from me if you need my service. So people like that, what I do is that on weekends, when I've stopped it because it's quite stressful, I go on weekends, I'll send them a message. Thank you so much, Colin, for liking my post over the week. It means a lot to me, and I look forward to returning the favor back to you on LinkedIn. Now, that has set a tone for a relationship. From liking to engaging, commenting, and now a DM. And that's it. So I leave it like that. I don't even go further. Then you can also research your profile. If I see your profile fit into the kind of clients I want to convert or I want to attract, I can even send you a message. But I hardly do that. Okay, I do ABC business. I barely do that because I'm very reserved. But I'll make sure I keep engaging on your post. If you don't post, I'll try to reach out to you or get your number on WhatsApp. And obviously, if you see my post on WhatsApp and you want to ask me for business. So lawyers should be patient. Lawyers should not be, salesy. Don't be desperate. And people ask me, how soon can I start getting clients? I tell them, I can't guarantee. But if you keep putting out content, the chances of getting clients are very high. And for me, beyond just posting content, the people know you in your community. On LinkedIn. So what I did in Nigeria, I began to be very active in their events. So they are organizing a LinkedIn offline hangout event, I'll be there. They're organizing an event for, they call it LinkedIn Local Lagos, I'll be there. Most of all these people are actually my age mates, in the same age category, but some of them have referred me business. Some of them have collaborated with me on webinars. Some have even spoken to me to other people without me asking them to do that. So, and these people know people that I don't know. They know people that can actually buy my service. So you have to be engaged in that community. You have to engage in people's posts, go out and meet these people in person, either in a group event or one-on-one. That is how people. So when I go to events, prior to my LinkedIn journey, I find it hard to collect people's numbers because I'm not a talking type. If I don't like you, I don't want to talk. I won't be very free with you. But when I go on LinkedIn, and I've gotten your we've spoken for a while, like 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 1 year, and I see you're going to an event, and I'm in that event, I could talk to you for 1 hour because we've already established a rapport on LinkedIn. So for that, I really want to close clients very fast. I would say start online on LinkedIn with your content. Content would sell your knowledge. Then engagement with other people's content will also make you visible and show that you are in it for the long haul. You want to support other people to grow. Then thirdly, going to meet these people offline will also solidify that relationship, build more trust, and make you somebody that is real. This person, we've seen him in an event, is a real person. And also, things like we're doing now, this podcast we're having now, it's not going to give me business, but someone could be listening to this podcast somewhere in the world and want a Nigerian lawyer or a lawyer in your country. And by the virtue of our conversation, you could ask me for your number or ask you for my number. So that is it. Having people to grow, getting on YouTube videos, getting on podcasts, getting on writing for blogs. And those are third-party owned assets that will promote you without you being the one promoting yourself. So I would say that lawyers should be patient, play the long game, play the branding game. Branding is about content. Branding is about community building, relationship. But sales is about advertisements, selling Google Ads, LinkedIn. I don't do ads. I don't plan to do any ads, at least for now, because I believe in branding. I believe in relationship. I believe in taking it a step at a time and making people like you, and eventually you can now close one or two of them who are your clients, and those 2 or 3 can now become your evangelists. In quotes, that will tell people that this person, I name on LinkedIn, I've used his service, and I can vouch for his competence. So that's what I would say to lawyers, really.
Thank you so much for that. At this point, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Ceci, how do lawyers decide on what topic they are going to post about?
Oh, that's a wonderful question, Colin. So I would say we have 2 kind of lawyers. Those who already know the area of practice they want to specialize in, or the kind of work they want to do. They have clarity. Then we have those who are just joining in newly and probably don't know, just do whatever they're asked to do by their bosses. So for those who already know what they want to do, I would say stick to your strongest area of practice. The area of practice you know really well. You can speak to that topic, to that area, and they can ask you questions. Because once you post content, people are likely to ask questions, and you must answer the question right on the platform, right on LinkedIn, right in your comment section. And if it's an erroneous answer, someone can see that answer and just say this guy is writing rubbish. He's not saying the truth. He's just blabbing. He's making errors. So you have to write from a perspective write about a topic or an area or a practice area you have deep knowledge. Not necessarily deep knowledge. Maybe I would say that you are very comfortable with, really. You are comfortable with. So for me, it's real estate. Because I started practicing in that area of law as a young lawyer, real estate and tenancy matters, inheritance matters. So I found it easy to talk about it on LinkedIn, because in my real practice at the office, I do more of those kind of matters, cases, and transactions. So for someone that is starting out newly, that doesn't have clarity about what he wants to write, I would say just try out a few things for a start. If you're working in a firm where they do a lot of things, like the general practice firm, try out this area, that area, and the other area. Eventually, one of them will stick. And also tell your stories. Tell your personal stories, your journey, how you got your first job, how you're able to manage stress at the workplace. All of those kind of stories, they're not necessarily legal posts, but they speak to your journey, they speak to your ideology about those kind of area, on those issues, and people can kind of know how you think in those areas. So post content about something you really have knowledge about, or something you want to build expertise in. You may not really have them. You can read a textbook or a case or something and post content from there with the aim of going deep, into trainings, certifications, or you can actually talk about those areas if you can actually read, study, and make the content really, really relatable to your audience. Thank you, Colin.
What benefits have you experienced since becoming active on LinkedIn?
Wow, Colin, that question is I would say is I can't answer it in one sitting, but I will try. So I like telling stories. So I would say that Colin, for example, you and I, we got on LinkedIn probably 2 years ago, talking, engaging, and having conversations about our different posts. And you sent me a message on LinkedIn yesterday. That was yesterday. I was at the induction. You're asking me if I could jump on this podcast. I said, yes, I could do this podcast. Now, it looks like it's a mundane thing and it does not really, what is the ROI? But the truth is that 5 years ago, I could not imagine myself talking to a lawyer from the Caribbean island. I mean, having a podcast, having a blog, having an asset that is digital, that sells my expertise and knowledge to not only my own target audience, even clients, even people outside my country. That is an amazing asset that will not go away anytime. So that asset is there for life. Whenever you go to that podcast, that app or the podcast, page, you see the interview there. You can always refer that interview to your clients. So Colin goes to share this podcast very soon. And I also share my network, and they see that I'm actually building relationships beyond my country. It earns me respect. It makes me build relationship even before I need it. If I come to your country tomorrow for something, I don't have to be worrying or who will I call. I have a lawyer in the Caribbean island I can call, and it will help me resolve this issue because we'll be having a relationship on LinkedIn. So for me, beyond getting business, it's about building reputation at scale. It has helped me build reputation at scale. So this morning I was in court, and that was at midnight at 2 a.m. I checked my LinkedIn DM and I saw a message. Somebody was invited, asked me if I lived in Lagos. I said, yes, this person is in the US, a Nigerian lawyer based in the US, but is not practicing law at the moment. And she wrote a book which I made comments about the book last year on LinkedIn, although I've stopped commenting on her post for a while. She now asked me that, can I attend her book signing ceremony in Lagos next week Tuesday? I said, wow, it's a very tight day. I have a seminar in my branch, which I'm part of the organizing committee. But since your event is by 5 p.m., 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., I'll try and make it to VI. I'll come, I'll try. And going to that event, obviously, I might probably be the only lawyer in that room or two lawyers, and I will meet people that I don't know. So for me, it makes it's a platform. It makes your reputation precede you, and people can bring you into networks that you cannot ordinarily get into because of your content. And once you're in that kind of network, the person bringing you in, he's seen by his own friends or people that know, this person you're bringing in, we trust your judgment. This guy can offer value. And that's how you get clients. That's how you discuss one or two. So for me, it's about having reputation at scale. It's about, it gives you the opportunity to sell yourself very cheaply without having to go to a seminar, a webinar or whatever. You can post the content and people like your content and you are building your reputation at scale. It's also, I've gotten jobs there, I've gotten briefs, I've gotten opportunities, I've gotten interns. Interns are in my firm that ordinarily they will not even know I exist. But on LinkedIn, they see my profile, they see my content, and they ask me, sir, can you mentor me? Can you teach me real estate? Can you come and tell me? So I feel that the ROI is amazing. It's unquantifiable really, but most importantly, you will build relationships at scale. Imagine in a day, you want to meet 100 people in a day, one-on-one, and ask for their name, their phone number, what they do. It's going to take a lot of work and effort. But on LinkedIn, you make a single post, and that single post can get about 1,000 views and probably 20 comments and maybe 50 likes. That is a massive attention-grabbing strategy that you will not have on any non-digital platform if you are not using. If you are relying on TV and radio alone, you will not go that far. So for lawyers, I'll tell lawyers that beyond getting clients, it's a chance for you to build your reputation at scale, to shape people's perception about you before they even meet you. Your reputation has preceded you because of the consistency and the kind of thoughts, leadership content that you put out there. And I think for our profession, this is the best way to sell yourself and to sell, what you do as a lawyer.
Is LinkedIn very popular among Nigerian attorneys?
Yeah, Colin, in Nigeria, LinkedIn is gaining prominence among lawyers, although the adoption is quite low in terms of content creation. We have a lot of accounts that are open for getting jobs, and maybe having the whole profile optimized, and in case people are checking me out, I'll be visible on LinkedIn. I'll have an account, I'll have a profile, I can be found. But I would say that less than 1% are actively creating content. Less than 1%. And those who are doing content creation, not all of them have really mastered how to do it in a way that appeals to their audience. So in Nigeria, it's a bit popular, not as Facebook, not as Twitter, not as Instagram, but it's gaining prominence, it's on the rise in Nigeria, is becoming accepted. People want to actually come to LinkedIn, but they don't know how to start. They're scared of I had a PhD at 25, I had 3 degrees. I'm like, you don't have to come out, you don't have to be scared. Those things are what we call branding and self-promotion. But you don't have to be scared about those things. Just come there, tell your stories, meet people, connect with them, offer value, and go your own. Go your way. You have people that will like you for who you are, for your background, for your content, for even your outfit as a person. So you don't have to be worried about all of those things. So in Nigeria, it's getting popular, but I want to see a lot of lawyers coming in different niches, sharing content, collaborating together, and making the ecosystem, making Nigerians aware about their legal rights, and that they need to hire legal services so that they can avoid all of these issues that arise that causes going to court and going to litigation.
Excellent. What future trends, from your standpoint, do you believe are likely to impact upon the way lawyers use LinkedIn going forward?
Oh, Colin, okay. Well, for me, I would say that it's happening already, where a client wants to engage your service and they want to have a track record. They want to have a kind of background check. They're not doubting your competence, but is this person, can I see something about this person that will make me fall in love with this person? So I got a client from the UK 2 years ago, around October, and we got on the phone talking, and I asked her, Madam, how did you find me on LinkedIn? My client said, oh yeah, I'm good at IT. I got on LinkedIn, I typed in the search bar, real estate lawyers in Nigeria. Your profile came up. I like what I saw. And I thought, let me engage this man. This guy can get the job. And that was how I got that brief. So that is the future of our practice. The guys coming behind us, the Gen Zs, the 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, they're not going to meet you in a conference or in a seminar. They want to check you out on LinkedIn and see what you are writing. So if you are not visible, if your firm is not actively creating thought leadership content, you might be sidelined by these Gen Zs tomorrow, when this thing will become widespread and there'll be a wide adoption of this kind of practice. So I would say that, background check on lawyers will become a trend, and lawyers will be forced to actually have some kind of presence on LinkedIn. I'm also looking at trends like collaboration. Instead of saying, oh, I'm competing with you, even in the same practice areas, we can collaborate on trainings together, webinars together. A lot of things that we can do together, and it brings ROI for the parties that are partnering on that kind of trend. So for lawyers, the trend that I know that will become much more adopted is going to be collaborating on things like we are doing on this podcast, YouTube videos, and having these conversations about our practice areas to our audience, just leveraging on one another expertise in that particular space and audience. So that's what I would say would impact the way lawyers use LinkedIn in Nigeria and even across the world. It's going to be our reputation, to be about branding, to be about people speaking for you in networks you don't even belong to, because LinkedIn has brought you guys together, and that's how that relationship will keep blossoming.
I see this has been a great conversation. I'd like to thank you for stopping by at the Legal Corner. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview and I appreciate you. And I am grateful for all of the great content that you share on LinkedIn. And I will encourage all of our listeners to check out your profile on LinkedIn. All right?
Yes, Colin, I said I appreciate you for having me on this podcast. It means a lot to me, speaking to your audience in your country and even across the world. I look forward to another episode where I'll be a guest. Thank you so much. I enjoy your LinkedIn. I enjoy your posts. They're quite short. They're quite succinct. They're quite to the point. And quite a lot of motivational posts you make out there. So keep at it and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Now, this has brought us to the end of another episode of the Legal Corner podcast series. Remember to check us out on social media. We are also on Patreon if you are interested in supporting our work. If you enjoy the show, I'd like to ask you to leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser for Android users. We also love it if you subscribe to our podcast so you won't miss any of our future episodes. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Legal Corner podcast series. For more information, please visit us at our Facebook or Instagram pages or send your comments to thelegalcornerpodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.